Welcome back, everybody, to the Right Way Sports Network. I'm Daniel Alameda, and today we have the pleasure of speaking to Ally Redig. Ally is the president and founder of Ally Redig Athlete Relations. And we'll get into that more in a bit. But Ally, thank you so much for taking your time to come on here and have a discussion. How are you doing today?
Good. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Of course, of course. And for those of you who do not know, Ally is recently engaged. Recently engaged. So huge congrats to you. We saw that.
Thank
Huge,
you.
that's arguably one of your biggest accomplishments in life
Yeah.
thus far. But
Yeah.
congratulations. How do you
Thank
feel
you.
about that, first off?
We're really excited. I'm sure if you saw the post, then it's been like a since day one kind of like when you know thing, and it was like such a cute, like honestly really perfect proposal. He nailed it. And it's been kind of a whirlwind since. We're like doing so much at once, but the perfect like positive thing to happen after all of the craziness in the world, and just a little boost of like encouragement for us, and just like a nice little ray of sunshine in all of this,
Yeah.
especially like my family said that too, give us something positive to focus on.
Perfect. Yeah, no, I saw your post about that. Amazing, amazing. Congrats to you. But all
Thanks.
right, let's jump right in. Before we get into anything big, just tell us a little bit about your background in sports as a young kid.
Yeah, so I majored in college, which seems like forever ago now, but majored in college in sports communication and PR, was my minor. So I originally thought that I was going to do like the PR marketing route, because I thought that was kind of like the only, option to be working with the players one-on-one if I wasn't going to be like an agent or something, like financial advisor or something. Um, so I started in a position at an agency that was in their marketing department, and luckily their department was pretty fluid with their like client relations and that whole team. So I got to have a little bit of a rounded view of really what happens in the athletes' lives outside of just marketing and PR. And the more that I was doing on the client relations piece, the more I was realizing that that was really what I wanted to be doing. Which, just to give a little like synopsis on that, is basically just like helping with like everything in their life. So whether it's like moving or big events, small events, daily things, helping with like managing their schedules, like you name it, we do it. So that was kind of the bigger thing for me, was being able to help in their actual personal lives versus just on like a business standpoint, which is obviously what the marketing and PR side is.
Mhm.
So after I did that for a little while, I realized it was what I wanted to do long term. So I got a job in California as the head of an athlete relations department for another agency. And then I went into the branding side just a little bit to kind of help, again, round that view of really what that looked like. If I was going to be, doing this full time as my own company, I wanted to make sure that I understood every single piece of it before I just jumped in. And then after that, like almost 3 years ago, we started athlete relations, and just kind of started with the one client here, one client there situation. And by, I think I want to say like August or September of that year, it was my full-time job on my own. And then, since then we've just kept growing, and, we have a really great group of guys, and the girls that I work with that we have employed with us, make my job so much easier, and they're so helpful and so great. So it's, come really to fruition for sure in the last, I would say, like year and a half for sure.
Yeah. No, that sounds great. You said, so I think you started this in 2018, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
2018. And you talked about how you grew this. Explain a little bit more in detail. Like, what were the actual process, like the actual steps you took into growing this company?
Yeah. So, I mean, especially as like a woman in sports, there's a really interesting way of getting started, because you have to really, prove yourself in any situation. So it was just a matter of, networking and getting the right contacts, and making sure that before I even started anything and before I got a client, that I was making sure that, um, exactly what I needed to be successful. And of course, I'm still growing that every day. But the beginning was really just hounding those connections and making sure that I had everything that I needed for our clients to be like our work to be satisfactory and everything to be going well. So I did a lot of my networking in the beginning. And then obviously all the logistics of actually starting a company and needing all of that. And then my first, full-time client was, somebody that I had known before. We worked together at a few different places at that point. And then when he obviously we still followed each other on social media and stuff, when they realized that I was doing it on my own, that was a no-brainer. That happened with a couple clients. And then since then I've gotten to know just athletes randomly. Like through other athletes and through the connections made with that and, referrals and all of that. And so it's just a matter of, kind of growing organically, which obviously is the only way to do this. It's not like I can put out like a Facebook ad and get customers. So it's just a matter of, slow and steady growth after that and, keep growing my contacts, keep growing my network. And having people really understand what we do and that it's not PR, it's not marketing, it's not an agency, it's a very specific job, but we do it well, and that's the point. So it was just a matter of kind of growing it that way.
Yeah, no, you touched on a little bit also about you being a woman in the sports industry. Tell me a little bit more about if there's been any struggles you face or what have been the hurdles you've had to overcome?
Yeah, I mean, that's always going to be the case, right now, and something that a lot of us that are women in the sports industry are constantly working to break down those walls and break down those barriers. I mean, it's just a matter of, and I get it all the time, and it's like the whole, you're a woman, why would you know sports? And all of my friends, I mean, get all my guy friends, my fiance's family, everybody would say, like, I probably know more about sports than the average male, but just because I'm a female, it doesn't sound right. It doesn't make sense. So it's kind of interesting to see, I would say, the initial reaction from people when you're a woman in sports and you can hold a conversation about, some team's offense or this player or whatever it may be. It doesn't calculate to them. So it's an extra layer of proving yourself, just that you know what you're doing. And my job doesn't even actually have to do with, I'm not a commentator, I'm not an agent. Like, I don't actually really even have to know the game per se, but I do. And I understand the athletes' lives, and I understand, on the field, off the field, I know everything that has to go on in their lives in order for myself to be successful. So, I mean, first and foremost, you always have that against you, but with my job, and I have to be very organized and be really on top of everything. I think that it doesn't matter, what people are going to think. Like, if your work speaks for itself and you do stay, like I said, organized and everything, it's going to turn out the right way. So if you can get over that initial hump of that, getting through to people and making them understand that you really know what you're doing. And, we've made so much progress. There's a lot of us that are kind of in the same boat and, really drive home that we deserve to be here mentality. And I feel it every time I go to Super Bowl, every time I'm at a game, every time I'm standing on the field when the game is about to start. Like, I get that rush of, like, I'm supposed to be here, and you have to keep proving yourself constantly.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. You've done great for yourself and your company. You talked about organization, and organization is obviously something that's really key when you're running your own company. Take us like through a day in the life of Ally Redig. Take me through not in the coronavirus, because everything's all mixed up
So,
right now. And I know this is gonna be hectic, but what does a typical day look like for you?
yeah, of course, right now is much different. We are
Yeah.
adapting to everything going on. But normally, I mean, it depends, because some of our clients are a little heavier during their time schedule. Everything is heavier during the off season, and some are a little bit heavier during the season because they just want to focus on the game and they want us to handle everything else. So it really depends on what they personally want and where they're at in their personal life. So every time we sign on a new client, we try to make sure that we have a really in-depth onboarding call, or even before the client signs on, to feel out what they really need, where they're at in their personal life, where they're at in their professional career, everything that goes into it. So my average day is so different, but I mean, I'm constantly having to be on my phone, and typing. My notes in my phone is a dumpster fire at this point. It's just constant notes of being make sure to do this, check on this, or look into this. I've every app you could possibly think of for travel and calendars and things like that, to make sure that each one of them, is on top of their stuff too. So a day in a life normally is just reaching out to, if the clients reach out to us, obviously it's just handling whatever they need. But if not, I try to take some time. I wouldn't even say each day, because each day is so crazy, but at least a couple of times a week to, think about, okay, this person lives in this city. What are some other things that we could do there? Or I know that this person has a move coming up. What are some furniture companies that we could be reaching out to, and just see what that looks like and things like that. So it really is just a matter of consistently growing. But an average day is probably 4 or 5 phone calls from all different clients needing something, or asking, or venting, even just random things. So at least a couple of times a day, I've got one of them calling and needing something, or asking something, or whatever it may be.
Yeah, no, honestly, it sounds exciting. It sounds fun. And I know this is a question tailored to more of the younger audience. for somebody who wants to go into the field that you're in, somebody that sees how exciting your life, sees what you're doing as a motivation, an inspiration, what do you have, what can you tell them in order, like what steps do they need to take to be where you are currently at?
Be willing to put in a lot of work. I didn't have a life for like years, I think,
Yeah.
honestly. It's just a matter of getting your foot in the door for the first time. And obviously the sports world is kind of this like walled garden, like it's hard to get into. So I would honestly say from day one, even if you're in college still and like don't have time to get a full-time job yet, start networking now, because when you're ready to get the job, you can say, oh, I talked to the person at that agency, or I talked to this person already. I can reach out to them versus just being another name on a resume. So definitely starting to network now, asking the questions. Most people will give you the time of day, especially right now, because nobody's doing anything other than sitting on their computer and sitting on their phone working. So if you can get 10 minutes with somebody to just bounce ideas off of them or hear about their path, whatever it is, definitely do that. Another thing that I've noticed a lot with, people that have interned for us or other interns that we've worked with or things like that, that are, obviously the younger kids is, really working on finding, instead of for example, if you're working for me, let's say, so I give you a problem that I have, hey, one of our guys needs this. We need to figure out how to make it happen. When you come back, don't say, well, I tried this, this, and this, and it didn't work. You have to have a solution. So if there's a problem, you cannot go to a client and say, well, we tried this and it didn't work, so sorry. You have to have a solution. Obviously with Corona right now, like sometimes it just doesn't work and places are at capacity or whatever it may be. So this is a little different, but working on, problem solving, solutions and things like that are going to help you later. Like that's the biggest thing in the sports industry is you can never not have a solution to a problem. So really like that's the biggest thing that I've like started to notice a lot recently with people that I've talked to is that issue that they kind of run into of, I have all these problems and I don't have a solution to them. And that's obviously my job is to find those solutions. So really working on that now, it's going to help you in whether you're doing athlete relations, you're an agent, you're a marketing manager, whatever it may be, it's going to help you.
Yeah, no, young kids, you need to listen to her. Make sure you guys listen to her.
Listen, youngin.
Exactly. So you've had the opportunity to work with many pro athletes, Jordan Howard, Clayton Fledulum, Shelby Harris. What have you learned, whether it be in the business aspect, in life, or anything in general, about working with these guys?
I will say sports is probably different than any other field, for lack of a better term, because it is a very, with the players themselves, you want to be professional and you want to come across as, this is my job and this is what I'm doing. I'm offering you a service and you're paying me for it. Obviously, that's how things work. But these guys just want someone that they can trust and be friends with. Like, you can see it all over our social media. Like Shelby and I just shoot the shit all day. Like he's like my old, like jokingly, he's like my older brother that like bullies me all the time. He's only a year older than me, which is funny. But like he and I have like such a funny relationship where it's like we can just joke around all day. But if work needs to be done, work needs to be done. And, you make sure of that. But I would say sports is probably one of the only fields that you can genuinely be like that with your clients. But at the same time, there's a very thin line. You have to still be able to get your work done. You cannot just be like their friend all the time. That's not what they're paying you for. So like Jordan, for example, has been at my family's Christmas. Like he is like genuinely part of my family at this point. Like I love Jordan. Same with Tay. Like Tay is such a good guy. He's like, I know his family now at this point too. And Josh Woods and John Franklin were both at Easter last year. Like it's one of those things that they just become part of your life, like so integrated into your life as much as you are with them. So really just making sure that you have that professional mentality while also being able to relate to them on a personal level, because that's exactly what they're looking for. They don't want somebody that's just like, business. I'm kind of a robot. Yeah. It's not going to work out. So you have to really balance. I think that's the biggest thing with this is balancing that line of, obviously professionalism, getting your work done and making sure that you're still relatable to them and that they can call you if they just need to tell you something or vent, or Like I'm probably one of the outside. I know for a fact that some of our clients, I have been one of the first people when they find out they're pregnant or engaged or whatever, like immediately after their parents and siblings, like I'm the first person they call. And like, that's because of our relationship. Same with us. When we got engaged, we called my clients, were one of the first people we called because we knew they're so excited for us. That's like our family. It was like no brainer. So, I mean, really just making sure that you have that relationship is so important.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That seems awesome. You're just able to, yeah, like you said, it's not like any other industry. You're able to have that relationship going to Easter, going to Christmas. It just seems awesome.
I
Um,
cannot imagine doing that with any other industry. It would be very strange, but this it just
yeah,
works.
no, for sure. It sounds awesome. What are your goals for yourself? Because I love asking this question just to hear other people's perspective. What are your goals for yourself personally and your company in the near and the long term?
Well, near future, I would say professionally, we're just trying to kind of navigate this new normal. We're trying to figure out, I mean, we're very heavy in the NFL. We do have players in the NBA. We have women's soccer league. We have a bunch of different leagues, but a good portion of our players are in the NFL. So, really just monitoring like how to go about this season, if
Mhm.
there is a season, if not a season, if there's fans and all of that, because that does affect their salary. So again, we're not their agent, but it's still something that we need to consider and help them navigate through that. Um, so I'd say the near future is definitely just working on that and trying to help make everybody feel like everything's okay. Personally, getting through planning a wedding and we're building a
Yeah,
house at the same time. So trying to get through that part. And same thing with like the corona thing with that too. It's like, of course, like my family doesn't live here. So we're navigating. I actually like did the whole like dress fitting trying on thing this morning before I came here. And I had to do my Zoom meeting with my mom and like stuff on there. Like it's weird. It's a
yeah,
totally different world. And like it's something that most people, before this had never navigated through. So just again, personally and professionally working on navigating through this kind of new normal and, really taking time for mental health, make sure that it's not just becoming this all consuming, I don't really know what's going on in the world, so it's going to affect my mental health state. Long term, same thing. I want to make sure that our clients always feel taken care of. I want to grow this into helping as many players as we can. A lot of people in the beginning asked if I would end up going full service, which is essentially doing PR, marketing, having everything in one place. And I still say no because it's not, there's so many places that do that. There's so many PR places and marketing places and agencies, and they do a great job and they're good at it, but that's not what I set out to do. Like I wanted this to be just this one thing. So I want to do this one thing really well and keep growing it that way. So that's definitely on my like long-term professional goals for sure.
yeah. No, it sounds amazing. We'll finish off with this. I'm really interested to see what you have to say right now. If let's pretend I'm a pro athlete right now, okay? I'm a pro athlete and you're coming to me, or I need somebody to represent me, right? What is your pitch to me?
So I would have done probably a lot more research than I
Oh
would
yeah,
have
no,
done
no.
right.
Yeah.
So I usually go to the athlete, they're obviously looking for something. We've connected. They either, have had the conversation with one of their teammates or something. So they usually have like an idea of what we do. So I do a little bit of research on my side of, what they're doing in their personal life. Are they married? Do they have kids? Do they live in the same place during the off season that they play? Like all of these like random questions that kind of go into what my proposal and my pitch looks like. But we really just sit down and say, like, where do you feel like there's gaps? Like, where in your life do you feel like you need help? Is it, having us help you find someone to do PR and marketing and working with them to make sure that your appearances are all, taken care of and your interviews are scheduled and everything? Or is it more on like a personal level? Do you want to do more traveling with your family? Do you want to do more things in the city you live in? Are there restaurants you want to try? Are there things that we can help either get for free or get discounted or help with that kind of stuff? Are there products that you want to be working with? Do you have sponsors? We go through this long list of questions with them that I think really gives me that rounded view of kind of being able to write a really good proposal for them and obviously help figure out pricing and everything like that, because we really do depend it on, what exactly they're looking for. So, I mean, our pitch is literally just, we're trying to make your life easier. So what can we do to do that? Here's some things that we've done in the past based on, the research we've done with them. If they have kids, here's another one of our clients that has kids and here's what we've done for them. Maybe that'll appeal to you. If they don't, okay, here's one of our clients that's also single and he does a lot of traveling and he does this and he just opened up a store, a restaurant, whatever, and we helped with this, this, and this with it. Does that appeal to you? So just it's kind of a lot more personal than I think it probably. I don't have like an elevator pitch for each of them. I
Yeah.
try to make it as personal as it can be.
Wow. Impressive. Impressive. Very impressive. Ally,
Thank you.
is there anything else you'd like to touch on? Anything we missed? Anything?
I don't think so. I mean, all of our guys are, doing some really good stuff right now. If you go in, obviously, our Instagram, we try to keep as updated as possible. It's just Athlete Relations. So being able to keep up with them, I love that idea of, everybody just checking in on what our guys are doing and all of the good that they're putting out into the world. And so many fun things right now. We've got guys with new babies. We've got guys getting married. We've got guys with new houses. We've got so much going on during this quarantine. So if you want little boosts of positivity, that's all on there. So that would be the only thing that I would probably say.
Yeah. No, make sure you guys go follow her company at Athlete Relations on Instagram. Great stuff there. Ally, thank you. Thank you very
Yeah,
much for
thanks
taking the
for
time
having
out of your
me.
day to come on here and really just have a discussion. It was really opened my mind. Opened my mind. I'm sure it'll open a lot of people's minds, but really,
Sure.
really appreciate it. Thank you very much. And yeah, thank you guys very much for tuning into the Right Way Sports Network. We will see you guys next time.